think Shashi Tharoor has already spoken in broad terms of political responses, media responses. I'll try to come back to some specifics, but by just outlining where Sangh terror fits in the vision of the Sangh. One of the problems that I find in covering the Sangh or talking to people about the Sangh is that they often mistake the individual RSS members they encounter for the entirety of the Sangh. And how should I state this analogy? Most RSS members that you encounter and talk to, and I will not mince words, often seem dull, moronic, robotic, and we carry away the wrong impression. The RSS is like a beehive, and you don't judge the intelligence of a beehive by individual bees. There is a clear, larger purpose to this organization that we should be pretty clear about. And in my view, the larger purpose is to undermine the very constitutional formulation that defines the Republic of India. And I use the word republic with due care. The Republic is a shared association of values voluntarily arrived at by people. Geography is pushed to a schedule, just a list that can be changed by the will of the people. The RSS idea of India is geographic and historic, and in its idea of who constitute the people of India, there is a first and a second class citizenry. And that is when they define people born in India to a religion which holds into it to be a sacred land. Basically, they are trying to make sure that people who are Muslims or Christians are second class citizens of this nation. Why do I say that this is a real threat and that the RSS is closer to this realization than they ever have been before? This government is a 31% majority government, very far from changing the constitution. We, I think, often relax and regard the constitution as something that can be changed by a 2/3 majority. But I think if we actually study parliamentary democracy, to get 2/3 majorities in a first past the post system, what you need is about 39, 40, 41% of the popular vote. We are maybe 8 or 9 percentage points away in terms of a political mandate from the possibility of a 2/3 majority. It may not happen in the next election, it may happen in the election after if things go badly, depending on which government comes to power. The problem is not Modi, the problem is the RSS. So where in this strategy of the RSS, clearly leading to a reformulation of the very idea of what the Indian Republic is, does Sangh terror fit in? And I'll go back to, I was a state reporter for the Indian Express in Madhya Pradesh in the years 2001, 2, 3. And Madhya Pradesh is an important example because it defines something that is reoccurring on the national scene today. Digvijay Singh lost the election to Uma Bharti, a right-wing, strong proponent of Hindutva, a very aggressive Hindutva. What followed there? What followed is what you are seeing today in ample measure at the center. I covered anti-Christian violence in Jhabua. I covered cow vigilantism. At one point, me and a fellow reporter from the NDTV and the cameraman who happened to be a Muslim nearly got lynched because we were reporting a story on cows that were being distributed by RSS in the tribal areas. Curriculum reform, all this was happening. This was happening simultaneously with the very foundations of saffron terror that we know today. The training that took place was under government patronage in places like Mahu. The Maharashtra angle often forgets that most of these people had their roots in the official sanction that was granted to these governments by a ruling BJP government in Madhya Pradesh. What was the aim of Sangh terror? Sangh terror, you will see it coming into operation or actually functioning when nationally the Sangh feels that it does not hold power. If you wield political power, you don't need terror. I mean, this is one of the few realizations that are clear. And what is the aim of Sangh terror? It is to further the communal divide to the extent possible. It is also to silence people who oppose the RSS point of view, in case the murders of Dabolkar or Kalburgi. And fundamentally, the Sangh terror is, by extension, just another way of thinking of the kind of aims the Sangh has in mind. Why do I take this example of Madhya Pradesh? Because in Madhya Pradesh, what did you see in terms of political parties? The Congress was decimated. The Congress mounted no opposition worth the name. It hasn't for 3 terms to the government in Madhya Pradesh. All the things that I'm talking about continue to happen in Madhya Pradesh without any political voice or opposition. The media, we have reported recently gifts of houses, bungalows, the distribution of state patronage was literally silenced. There was no voice standing in the way of complete saffronization of Madhya Pradesh. I would advise some of you to go travel through that state and realize what the extent of the saffronization I'm talking about. It's a different India if you go to Madhya Pradesh. The state that I knew of, that I had experienced today has changed radically from what it was at one point of time, and it has gone largely unnoticed. Nationally, what do you see today? Political circumstances not very different from what happened in Madhya Pradesh at that point of time. The Congress, incapable, at times almost the Congress has been staffed and filled up by a 5th column of the RSS. And this association is long. The RSS often use the Congress to strengthen itself. You look at post-partition independent India, the presence of right-wing members from Uttar Pradesh in the Congress. You look at the 84 massacres. The RSS was a willing co-participant in the massacres carried out by the Congress. The RSS supported the Rajiv mandate that took place in 84. The RSS used that Congress government to strengthen itself. You look at the emergency and the post-emergency area, the RSS again used the non-Congress parties who are secular to strengthen themselves. They are the ones who benefited most. Today, there is no opposition to the spread of the RSS politically. And none of these parties, the Congress doesn't exist, the other parties don't have a national vision. They will look at what is happening individually in their states. So we do not have a political response, an organized political response to what is happening nationally. The media, less said the better. The media is again a participant. What I'm trying to say is that today we've all seen that the same kind of communal violence that I referred to in Madhya Pradesh at a slow burn is being encouraged through the country. The same kind of cow vigilantism that goes back 15, 20 years is being repeated in the country. Curriculum reform changes. And forget political parties, liberals in the city or in this country remain immune to this threat. Javdekar's entry into the HRD ministry was welcomed. You have to be an idiot to welcome Javdekar in that ministry. I mean, don't we know the background of the man? Smriti, he is far more dangerous than Smriti Irani was in that post. But this is the situation, this is where we are. And what is the media doing? The media has largely, either the media has owners like the owner of Z, whose affiliations to the right wing are very clear, or it is a corporate media which often goes by what the government wants. So a real realization of where the RSS stands, the threat of the RSS is not going to be coming to you through mainstream corporate media. So in terms of, in fact, quite the contrary, wherever you see that voices are being raised in defense of liberal values or the idea of the republic, you will suddenly see the same campaign in the media like Arnab Goswami echoing the fact that people who speak for liberal values are actually anti-national. It's another kind of terror. And when I talk of Sangh terror in this context, as I said, this government is in power. You will not see overt activities of Sangh terror. But are the capacities of Sangh terror expanding? Clearly so. This is where the taking apart of the terror cases is important. The message being sent is that people like Sadhvi Pragya Thakur will not be persecuted. We will make sure persecuted they never were, my apologies, will not be prosecuted. The case against them will be dismantled and taken apart. And quite apart from it, with the media and other political parties not paying attention in the same way that terror networks were being built up in Madhya Pradesh without anybody paying attention for 8 or 10 years, 5 or 6 years before they took action in other parts. Do we know what is happening? Is there a reporter or a media person working regularly on the RSS, be it and its affiliated organizations? This is the most important part of the political landscape today, and I see no sustained coverage of this landscape by anybody in the media. So what I'm saying is that it is pessimistic, the danger is real, it is leading in a certain direction, and the political and the media retaliation or counter to this whole thing is virtually absent. It is a pessimistic scenario, but I think that is the realistic scenario that we are facing today. Thank you.